Right, the last video I done was a bit serious because it was the poppy and all this, but I've been on the magic net. Didn't catch no fish, but I've caught something else. And I got to thank Chris Pierce because he put this together and it's quite good, and it's lesser known facts about the Zulus. And I'm going to do it the opposite direction. I'm not going from 1 down to 10, I'm going from 10 up to 1. The Zulus were thought to be such good soldiers that in the 1890s, the Germans and Belgians tried to recruit them into their own colonial armies. What they actually got was a collection of men from other ethnic groups who pretended to be Zulus in order to join up. Serves them right anyway. They should have checked before they get them in, but never mind. Contrary to Victorian myths, the Zulus did not torture prisoners. In fact, they hardly ever took a prisoner. The only soldier on the British side captured in 1879, which is the Zulu War that we all know of, who was actually French, must have deserted from his army and joined ours. He was interrogated and later released. Strange facts, isn't it? How things get turned around and condemned for something that didn't happen. According to the Boers, the Zulus had once experimented with a cavalry arm. That's not a cavalry arm, but never mind. This was not a success, as the horses that they stole from the Boers stampeded in an attempt to rejoin their friends on the other side. So, did the horses desert, or did the horses come back? Oh. Zulus behind their cow-eyed shields could be mistaken at a distance for grazing cattle, a fact that they took advantage of to trap the Boer Commando in 1838. That's an interesting one because I wouldn't have thought that, but tactics, just how good they were. There's often rivalry between different units in the same army, but the Zulus took this to extreme. A clash between two regiments in 1877 left at least 70 men dead. Fighting each other with clubs was acceptable. It was only when spears were used that the officials tried to break it up. So you could go to the club, but you couldn't get the point of the spear. Now, this is a Zulu word. I'm not going to get it right. The cattle, that's N-G-U-N-I, cattle, whose eyes were used for shields, come in over 100 different colours and patterns, each with its own Zulu name. Each regiment was supposed to carry a distinctive colour of shield, but by 1879, shortage of cattle made this impractical. I suppose a cattle would be like cat badges to us, distinguish who you are. I don't like this one. There was no retirement age in the Zulu army, and some of the reservist regiments in 1879 included men in their 70s. I'm sorry I wouldn't get out of bed, but never mind. The Zulus admired skills with words and made up impromptu verses on the battlefield, mocking their opponents and their weapons. This even applied to the British rocket battery, which was supported to be tufty and sophisticated enemies. The Zulu army's greatest weakness was a lack of a supply train. Warriors often went hungry unless they could capture food from the enemy. This is one reason why they were generally eager to attack, because once they got in, they got the food. And one I wouldn't have believed, and this is number one on the list. In the Zulu War of 1879, the Zulus had more guns than the British. Unfortunately for them, most were obsolete muzzle loaders with limited range and accuracy, and few men at the time or ammunition to practice shooting. So if that was brought out and they had decent weapons, at the attack at Ulundi, it could have been a complete turnaround where we could have lost. But anyway, again, I got to thank Chris Peers, P-E-E-R-S, for getting this together. It's interesting to read facts, but it's hard to find them. So I thank him. Anybody else got any facts unknown? Shove them on and we'll try to put another set together that we've done. So I'm going to leave you now with the thought. And the thought of the day is, if you're not in a fight, don't look for one.